Hey Chochachos, it's Negabun, and this is The Lost Heir 2, Forging a Kingdom, which is not going to demo itself. As per the first Lost Heir, and judging by the screen here, it's text, adventure, interactive novel, whatever you want to call it. So this is just going to be me reading, and you might just want to throw this on in the background, or skip ahead to whatever if this isn't your jam. That being said, looks like we get the first 2 chapters of the game for free. I'm not doing both of those, but we'll get into it. Let's do the spiel and maybe bring you up to speed with the first game, and then get on with things. So, The Lost Heir 2, Forging a Kingdom by Mike Walter. Unite the kingdom to take back your capital city. You'll need dragons, elves, and perhaps even demons to avenge your parents' murder in this fantasy epic. In The Lost Heir 2, you'll continue as the prince or princess of Daria, displaced from your palace after the murder of your parents. Face betrayal, seek romance, battle enemies in war, and navigate the intrigues of court. The fate of the kingdom of Daria is in your hands. The Lost Heir 2 is a 250,000-word interactive fantasy novel by Mike Walter, the second of a trilogy, where your choices control the story. Blah, 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 the self power of your imagination. That's the same in all of these, so I'd skip ahead. Play as female or male, gay or straight, or asexual. Meet elves, dwarves, gnomes, and more as you explore the furthest reaches of the land. Learn amazing new abilities from legendary teachers and search for powerful artifacts to keep you on your way. March into heated battle and lead your army to victory. Fly a dragon, raise an undead army, discover alchemy, summon new demons, and more. And $3 for the full version. To recap the first game, I don't know if this one's going to do it, but to get you up to speed, you start the first one, you're a prince, you're 12 years old. There's a consortium of demon summoners. Well, I think they call them planeswalkers, but they like to summon demons. Their whole argument is they want to bring demons in as free labor, basically slavery. And your parents who run the kingdom are like, nope. So, but anyway, the consortium shows up, poisons a bunch of nobles and your parents. Combat breaks out in the palace. 4 of the castle's residents are the only ones left to bail you out after the consortium's chancellor and his 2 buddies try to murder your ass after they've poisoned your parents and everything. You find out in the hallway they're the ones responsible. And then it's kind of a process of elimination of who you manage to get out of the castle with to, I guess, grow up, do stuff, learn stuff, and eventually come back. I don't know how long or how much you actually get done, but clearly you haven't taken the kingdom back by this point. Let's get on with things. Okay, welcome to Lost Heir 2, Forging a Kingdom. I strongly recommend that you play the Lost Heir 1, Fall Daria before playing this game. Let's just play this, because we've done it. I've done it. Would you like to turn on notifications? Nah, I don't like the stat notifications. We'll just create a new character. Okay, 12-year-olds with Alexander Zuzak, the High Chancellor of Consortium of Planeswalker, killed your parents. So yeah, it's going to give you the same choices from before. My name before was Corbin, so we're just going to go with that. I don't know why I guess it just has a random list it chooses from. Thuja, Alexander Zuzak's lackey, hired a band of mercenaries to break into the palace while Selena, another lackey, poisoned their banquet. You escape with the aid of an unlikely ally. I'm choosing all the choices that actually happened for me. I had Amos the thief. Alexander Zuzak stole an ancient demon stone from the royal treasury that night. Oh, that was the rune stone. That wasn't explained in the demo chapter that I played of that. Anyway, harmed your tutoring candidate spell, which tore Zuzak's rune bag open and spilled some of his demon stones on the floor, including the stolen one. You took these treasures with you when you fled the castle. Kingdom of Daria was dissolved and 4 duchies were created in its place. Amos took you to the small town of Elmvale, where he raised you as his own. You grew up and became... I was doing wizardry, so we'll do that. Wizards can use arcane spells to warp reality. Through incantations and mysterious gestures, they are able to perform many supernatural deeds. The greatest wizards of the land train at the Academy of Wizards, though there are other ways to learn magic. Many wizards share a supernatural bond with an animal familiar. Wizard, okay. Adeptness with... magic. Oh, I do like that you can mix and match the skills and stuff, too. Well, until many years later, you caught up with your friend from the palace who was a girl. She was a commoner. Young age, you found yourself sexually attracted to women. Gale was a good friend. Oh, good. It went with at least those names are the same. It does Gil if your friend was a boy. It was a good friend for a prince to have. Although actually, yeah, if you had a noble friend, there were two. Peter and Petra, I think, were the noble names. Anyway, Gale was a good friend for a prince to have because she kept you connected to the common people. Years later, you met her again, learning that she'd become a skilled thief after the fall of Daria. You also made a friend in Elmvale. I want to be a ladies' man. The archer was a woman named Carla. Her parents owned a store in Elmvale. You made another friend when you joined the Adventurers Guild. Hammerman! And the strong brute was named Theo and worked with you on your first job when you joined the Adventurers Guild. Last member of your party was a soul burner. A woman who joined you in Lud. A lot of people didn't trust soul burners because they felt that their magic is evil. You followed Amos's wishes and never used his demon stones. You were given a rune bag from Amos to carry the demon stones that you stole from Zusak, although you never used them. Before Amos was killed, no! He gave you a signet ring that had once belonged to your father, the king. You grew up to be someone, or you grew up to become, we'll go neutral. You and your companions raided a Somrath stronghold and found an unregistered demon stone. You took it to Vernex in order to gain entrance to the Planeswalker's compound. We'll go with the childhood friends. It was nice to travel with someone you liked romantically. Made nights more pleasant. Get that booty. The confrontation with your parents' murderer was a disaster, and you were thrown into the dungeon. Zusak intended to torture you in order to take back the demon stone you had stolen from him all those years ago. Amos was killed during your escape. So was... We'll kill Hammerman. Alexander Zusak's dual-axe-wielding mercenary, Thuja, was also killed, and you escaped with... Gale. Unfortunately, Carl and Jess were captured and taken away to Selena's dungeons in Brightwater. You knew that they would be heavily guarded, so you and Gale decided to lay low until Selena let down her guard. This is Spoiler City. If you haven't played the first one, you should probably stop listening to me and go play that if this is interesting you at all. Together you went to Academy of Wizards. Oh no, Wilderness. I like Wilderness. And so you left Vernex to seek refuge in the wilderness. Continue the story without a summary. I'll just dive right in. The young bear stares up on its hind legs and roars at you. Strands of drool fly from its muzzle as it yells in defiance. Gale stands beside you, her hands casually resting on the hilts of her two short swords. A mischievous grin curls the corners of her mouth and upwards as she surveys the scene. Alright, throw a dagger. Set it on fire! Your words tumble quickly from your mouth as the bear bursts into flames. Damn. The flames go out as its fur burns up. It roars again, this time in pain and fury. Now that it's been hurt, it will be twice as dangerous. It has been nearly a year since you left Vernex after Amos and Theo were killed by Thuja. Life in the wilderness had been hell. You built a leaky little shelter, rarely trapped enough food to eat, and have been harassed by insects the entire time. Gale has been cursing about the conditions since your arrival. Despite being in the middle of nowhere, a nearby camp was often filled with the hustle and bustle of loggers and hunters. You've also seen a forest witch living in a small hut close to your shelter. So, were we stealing? Did we offer services? Try to become a priest? Spend your days with the witch? Plant stuff? Or help the loggers as a hired thug? I like hanging out with witches. Hazel knew a lot of shamanistic magic and showed you how to work with spirits. Her magical practice was much different from there should be a what in there from what you had seen anywhere else.
It's time that you bonded with something,
Hazel said.
I recommend a rat or a toad. Both of them are worthy animals that can allow you to focus your magic through them.
We'll do a rat. The rat that Hazel had caught looked disease-ridden and mangy. You were somewhat skeptical at first, but her magic linked your soul to that of the rat. You grew an appreciation for the rodent. She looked up at you with shiny black eyes as your souls were joined. You decided to name her... Melty. I don't know. And creatures seemed to like what you called her and scurries along beside you. Happily. Tense shift. This one doesn't feel as well written as the first one, I'm just saying. The roaring bear suddenly pitches forward and falls into its stomach with an arrow sticking out of its back. Standing behind the bear is a small group of men and women wearing black masks. You count at least 10 of them and realize that you and Gale are in trouble. You've heard of a group of bandits working out of the forest, and now you are face to face with them.
This is our forest, and you've been wandering too close to our hideout, the bandit leader says. Two choices, my friends. Give us all the money you have and leave, or die.
Punch the leader in the face. The bandit leader is clearly waiting for you to pull a weapon and doesn't expect you to simply punch him. He takes the blow as he jams his sword into your side. Gale does her best to help you, but after a few minutes of heavy fighting, you are both overwhelmed. As you lay on the forest floor, the bandits help themselves to your coin and leave you for dead. They don't bother stealing your mounts, leaving you with Jasper, your horse. Luckily, you were carrying all your coins in your pouch, and the bandits don't find them all. Blackness. Several hours later, you come to. You see that Gale is still unconscious, but breathing. Slowly, you pull yourselves together and back onto your feet. The escape from Vertex had been a harrowing experience, but at least you had Gale by your side. Continue to date her. I don't know if I'd call it dating, but yeah. Although I do like that they give you the option for the relationship to fall apart. It was a bittersweet time to be nestled away with Gale in the middle of nowhere for an entire year. It was as though your life was on pause since you couldn't really plan for the future. Your parents would have been mortified to learn that Gale had grown up to be a thief, and the idea that the sole heir of Dario was having a dalliance with a rogue would have been gossip for the entire kingdom. That evening, your thoughts turned back to the murder of your parents. It was like an old wound that refused to heal. Sorry, I shifted that tense. That's my bad. The deaths of Theo and Amos are much fresher and just as painful. Although Thu just swung the axe, you know that Zusak is the one responsible for their deaths. These names sound familiar for some reason, and I don't know why. You haven't given up on finding out exactly why Alexander Zusak killed your parents, and what his plans are for the recently glowing demon stone he tried to steal. After a year of hiding, you know that it's time to rescue Carla and Jess. You hope that the time away has lowered Selena's guard and will allow you to break them out of her dungeon with less risk. Gale agrees, and you decide to set out in hopes of rescuing your companions. You pack up your belongings at east into the Duchy of Dumaine to Brightwater, the beautiful city on the Silver Sea where Selena now rules. Your horse, Jasper, is happy to be moving again as Melty scurries along beside you. You think she would just climb out of the horse's butt, but whatever. After a few days of travel, you and Gale find yourselves approaching a small village named Dobton, in the heart of what used to be the Kingdom of Daria. Looks much like every other small town you've ever seen. Let's continue on our way. As you walk through Dobton, you notice the streets appear quite empty. Considering that it's harvest season in the middle of the day, this doesn't seem too strange at first. You glance towards the fields on the edge of town and see something very alarming. Creatures ranging in height from 1 to 3 feet are shuffling around through the farmers' fields. They must be the farmers' children at first, until you notice their black, leathery skin. The field was infested with demons. There are perhaps a dozen of them walking among the cornstalks. You notice they are haphazardly collecting the cobs of corn and walking them individually to a wagon in the center of the field. You and Gale suddenly hear shouting coming from the inn. Alright, shielding spell. A shimmering blue sparkle twinkles all over your body as you step into the common room. You see a very angry fat man yelling at a disheveled thin man, jamming his pudgy finger into the other's chest as he speaks. Judging from the white apron, you guess that the man yelling is the bartender or owner of the establishment. It's clear that they are having a disagreement, but based on the passive faces of everyone else in the room, you determine that nobody is fearing for their lives. The two men continue their discussion, ignoring your presence.
I'm good for it, the thin man says. Give me a second chance.
Your bar tab was big enough before you chopped out my cellar door and emptied a barrel of mead, you lout.
A bystander leans towards you upon seeing your confused expression and explains the situation.
Sherman here, he says, indicating the thin man. He's had a rough go lately. One of his farmhands summoned a demon too big for him this spring. It ate the farmhand on the spot. So Sherman didn't get his field fully planted and didn't make enough money to pay his bar tab. So he goes to Bill here, the owner of the Blue Crab, and offers to chop wood to clear the debt. But the demon Sherman conjured to cut the wood was too strong for him. Next thing you know, the demon is Sherman chopping down the cellar door and drinking up Bill's mead. The demon drank first, but they can't get drunk, so it forced me to drink. I couldn't have drunk a full barrel all by myself. Let's chop the rest of the wood and a bit more to pay for some of the missing mead. So we can ask, what's with all the demon summoning? If he didn't drink it, he shouldn't pay for all of it. Side with Bill. Say nothing.
You say nothing as Bill and Sherman continue to argue over who should pay for the mead that the demon drank. It's clear that they aren't going to come to an agreement on their own. So they're going to force me into it anyway. He didn't drink all of it, so whatever. Sherman nods vigorously at your words.
Fine then. Just do the work you owe me, including the portion that you drank,
Bill says, attempting to get at least some payment out of the situation. You watch as Sherman walks out of the bar and around the back. Several of the townspeople follow him, as though they are curious to see what will happen. A large tangle of logs and lumber has been piled nearby. Instead of picking up the axe and getting to work, Sherman pulls a small demon stone out of his pocket. He looks tired and defeated before he even begins. The townspeople watch him with a morbid eagerness as he prepares himself to summon the demon to chop the wood. Let's stop him. Sherman, your will is not up to the task. He looks over to you and says, I'm exhausted, but I have to try. It needs to be a big demon, since the smaller one will be able to do the work. We'll just chop the wood with you. You realize it would take a few days to do the work, which would mean you need to rent a room in the inn and pay for your meals while you stayed there. Well, let's rent a room. You count out the money needed to spend a few days in Dobson. Ugh, Gale says with a groan. I became a thief so I could avoid these kinds of jobs. The townspeople, sad that they wouldn't be seeing a humiliating summiting failure, return to the common room of the inn. With the three of you working, the large pile of wood is dealt with much more quickly. Sherman is very happy to get his bar tab cleared, and Bill is happy to have his money. The job itself only takes a couple of days to finish. Sherman happily waves to you as you leave the town. You leave the tiny town and continue on your way. Your parents had always been against demon summoning, but since the ban was lifted a year ago and the consortium has supplied the populace with demon stones, it seems like the practice has really taken hold among the common people. This inevitably forces you to wonder, why did Alexander Zusak want this? What is he getting out of such misery? You realize that this small scene from the Four Duchies is happening across the entire land. Work not getting done, demons running wild, and commoners possessed into doing heinous acts. Zusak's changes are destroying the realm. Something must be done before all is lost. Remember earlier how we told you that the first 2 chapters are available for free? This is the end of the free content. That's really short. A lot shorter than the first one, but you get the gist. And I'm glad they kind of explained it at the end there, so I didn't have to, because it's kind of what I figured was going on anyway. Is it an analogy for the evils of technology? Maybe. I don't know. But you get the gist. And it's cute enough. Again, this one felt a little clumsier than the first one, but maybe, I don't know. Maybe it's just because I've been reading for an hour and a half almost. Well, probably about an hour. But yeah, we did these back to back. Watching the sausage being made. Anyway, if you're interested in this, you go back a video or two. The first one should be linked there. And the link for the demo to this one is in the info section. Or you can just go on Steam and look up The Lost Heir, and they'll pop right up. I haven't seen a demo up for 3 yet. I don't know if it's out yet. They're also available from Choice of Games, which I believe is just choiceofgames.com. If I'm correct, I'll try to link that too. There you go. Thanks for listening. Come back again for some games with actual stuff video-wise going on. See you. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, let me know in the comments, and consider subscribing so you get videos like this on the regular. I put up a lot of stuff every day. If you help me out on Patreon using the link in the upper corner, you can help me put out even more. You can also check me out on Twitter with the username on the lower right, or swing by my website, negaba.com, for all sorts of content, written, video, and otherwise, that I do regarding gaming.